And my message to Vice President Pence, I'm going to sue you for violating my federal civil rights, and Trump and the VA. They are violating my federal civil rights. As I've said in my series of articles, began on Manchester Inklink, but my Medium column, this is in my opinion, but, it is a calculated attempt to, in my opinion, to create another potential Charlottesburg right here in New Hampshire, the primary state, the first in the nation primary. And this was calculated, and they had to have the constitutional grounds to put that Bible in the box on that table. Let me explain to the folks is, a lot of times there's what's called a missing in action, POW table, that are in VA veterans hospitals. It is a burlesque, in my opinion, of the Last Supper. Instead of the 12, there's 6. It's created, I think, by Vietnam era pilots. Anybody used to watch the old World War I movies with the aces there, or even World War II, like the RAF. They'd lose somebody and they'd go in, there'd be an empty space and they'd have a drink for the person. Mm-hmm. But MIA, this table is called Missing Man, not MIA. So it's already gendered, which is offensive, because if anybody knows the history of the Manchester Veterans Administration Medical Center, is our all-female, all-woman congressional delegation, spearheaded by CD2 Annie Custer, who has been out there trying to protect the rights of women in the military and at the VA, asked for a separate entrance for women veterans suffering from military sexual trauma. Oh. Because being around men, and we can be crude, and I'm admitting myself, I've been sure. You say stuff, you're with,
of course, yeah.
We're back in the Army and stuff. They can get easily triggered. And I wrote an article about MST. They had a show about it called The Clothesline Project that was used on the National VA site. Mm-hmm. In Bedford, Massachusetts, at the Veterans Hospital I go to for some of my care, in which I'm going to request transferring completely out of this place because it's hostile, and I'm not, and we'll get into that later. At the Bedford Hospital, they've got the table. Where would you think that it should be properly placed? Since it's a table celebrating, a mess, like a pilot's mess. It's in the cafeteria. But no, this was put in the main foyer of the Manchester VA hospital, right across from the picture of Trump and Wilkie. We can go into the other stuff because it's so fascinating that when Wilkie, who's made offensive comments about trying to establish his religion onto me and others, which I find incredibly offensive and triggering. Because remember, I complained continually about an anti-Muslim employee up there.
Oh, yeah,
who was just, they let her, you remember when we were, that was when you were doing the show. You were just about to start this show.
Which was actually shocking to me that someone would even.
You were with me when they sent me the message.
Yes.
We were talking, you were going to go on the show the next week, and they said they were answering a letter to me, and then they lied, they lied. The assistant director who was taken out by the scandal, but given another job down there.
Of course.
He actually lied to Senator Shaheen, saying, I told him when I was with you, because we were at Puerto Vallarta, and I'd had tequila. No, I can't talk to you. No, I'm having dinner. Call me back later. And I think it was Friday night, or Friday at 5 or 5:30. And then he sends the letter that exact day. He refused to talk to me.
Right.
That's never been even adjudicated. But I'm up there. You know how I like to go. We'll come back.
Yeah.
At the time of the Quebec City massacre at a mosque, and I have Islamic family members who I love.
Yeah.
And this guy is continually caught towel heads, and people are asking him to stop because the psychologists up at the VA, they've got to break the the hold of the other.
Right.
On a veteran, or they'll be in hell for the rest of their life.
Oh, yeah.
Where they don't want Vietnam vets to say gook.
Right, of course.
They don't want them to, but, they've been, that's years and years of the conditions them.
Right.
So they do great progress with the younger veterans, so they don't hate Muslims, because you're in that situation. It's just, all this stuff, it's very natural to hate the other.
Right.
It fires you up.
But then
it's a shorthand that's in our brains.
Right. But then to carry that with you through the rest of your life will destroy you.
So
Absolutely,
here's people that have been, and he just keeps doing it.
Yeah.
Then he never gets disciplined. I write to Carol Shea Porter. He's telling the people, somebody sent a letter to the congresswoman.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So I'm known up there for getting him fired. I guess. Yeah. So I already got that onus on me.
Yeah.
We can talk about that. So that happened. And I mentioned that when I was with Al Montoya and Carol, when they're rolling out the new paradigm. MUR is there. It's online and everything. How well he did. Because I'm not blaming him. Because when this Bible, they made the complaint, he took it away. Then immediately it comes back. And then it's put in a big plexiglass box. The Bible in the box.
Right, yeah.
But it's not discreetly in the cafeteria.
Right.
It's in.
So it's in everyone's face.
It is right there in the entrance that women with MST have to go through, because they have to go up there to get to the 5th floor, which is where the psychiatric thing, and all the lobbying that to get the women either a separate entrance or a building, and anybody I think Ben Dion is on the commission. Historical commission or something. They want to preserve one of the building that the director used to be in, because it's a nice example of prairie architecture of that famous architect, Frank Lloyd Wright. And they said, well, this could be a place where women, sufferers of MST trauma, could go so they don't get triggered. All that's gone down, all down the drain.
We have a call. This could be him. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hi, my name is Mikey Weinstein. How are you?
Hi, Mikey Weinstein. Yes, we have spoken before. Welcome back to the show. John Hopwood is here, of course. I know that he invited you on today. But we played. I don't know if you've gotten to hear anything, but we did play a few minutes ago the clip. Played the audio of Mike Pence's comments that are up on his Twitter feed, talking about how the Bible stays in the at the Manchester VA. But can you kind of, for people who didn't hear your previous appearance on the show and aren't familiar, can you kind of remind everyone who you are and what you do and the organization and what you're fighting for here?
Sure. And guys, I wish I had a little bit more time. We're just kind of in a media storm today with both Pence tweeting what he did, and then the idiot Trump retweeting it. Was going to say repensing it earlier to this morning, so I only have a few minutes. But I'm the founder and president of the Military Religious Freedom Foundation. We're a large civil rights organization representing in excess of 65,000 active duty reserve guard and members of the U.S. military veterans as well. About 95% of them happen to be Christians. We have 17 client families connected with the controversy of the bolted down Bible, thereby in your neighborhood, in Manchester, at the Veterans Administration Medical Center. And of course, our number one person is our veteran. There is our client, very valiant man by the name of Jim Chamberlain, who is a devout Christian, former Air Force tanker pilot, who's our named plaintiff in that case. As I mentioned, we have 16 additional ones. The majority of them happen to be Christians as well. And so we are the ones that are facilitating that lawsuit with our excellent law firm there. And our attorney is Larry Vogelman, who's a very well-respected attorney in the area with the Davin Nixon law firm.
Okay. So obviously today's kind of a big day in all this where it seems like, the Trump administration is really trying to kind of shove it in everyone's faces with Pence's comments. Is this the first time, by the way, that Pence or Trump or anyone else from the administration has made such a forceful statement on this specifically, publicly?
Yes, on this one. But there is a statement I have about Mike Pence. I've been asked a million times since this started yesterday. Yeah. So I sent it to John, but I'd like to read it to you on the show now, if that's okay.
Absolutely, please.
Mike Pence is one of the most repulsive and repellent fundamentalist Christian supremacists and bullies on the scene today. He, as a full-fledged member of, quote, the family, religious cabal, and by that, please see the recent Netflix documentary, and author Dartmouth professor Jeff Sharlett's books on this fundamentalist Christian extremist organization called The Family. It's hardly surprising that Pence is lending his ugly bigotry and pervasive prejudice in support of keeping that Christian Bible bolted down on the POW MIA table at the Manchester, New Hampshire VA Medical Center. I tweeted back at Pence yesterday and just said, hey, Pence, got fundamentalist Christian privilege, you little snowflake. And, that's where we stand. I shouldn't even have to explain to anybody why that's wrong. The VA is a state actor. If you want to be In-N-Out Burger, Hobby Lobby, or Chick-fil-A, and they do this, put up your POW MIA table and put a Bible on it. You're a private company, but not when you're a state actor. Veterans come in all sizes, shapes, colors, national origin, religious faith, and no faith. We have plenty of secularists, atheists, agnostics, and humanists that happen to be veterans. And in the case in our lawsuit right here, we have an evangelical Christian wonderful plaintiff, and we have the majority of the people who have come to us asking for us for help happen to be Christians. We have Muslims, we have Jews, we have atheists, agnostics, Native Americans. And so this is the first time that Pence, who basically is the servile, ass kisser of the ignorant, entitled Trump, has decided to weigh in. But of course, the level of the daisy chain is kind of like being poorly educated leads to ignorance, which leads to fear, which leads to hatred, which leads to bigotry and prejudice, which ends up with blood in the streets. So that's what we're dealing with.
I agree with you totally. Before you came here, I was speaking of that. I believe, Mikey, first of all, Mike Pence is a liar. He lied. That Bible was not in World War II. Well, I established that as a journalist.
Yes.
And why the media and why our Democratic congressional delegation here in the state of New Hampshire and why the Democratic presidential candidates are ignoring this, but they ignore veterans, except Chris Pappas, who's new and a good guy. But let me, back in, Matt knows because we were on a TV show before we got the radio show. There was the previous administration there allowed anti-Muslim bigotry, which to me was extremely offensive because I have Muslim family members. My niece converted to Islam. She met somebody and fell in love when she was on duty in Kosovo. And, he's a beloved member of our family, and they are Muslim. And her child, my grandniece. And at the time of the Montreal mosque massacre, or it could be Quebec City, he's making these comments. And I complained and complained. Nothing would happen. Then I sent a letter to Carol Shea Porter, our former congresswoman. He's mocking it. Finally, something happened. So now I'm known up there, I guess I'm the one who got rid of the guy that he got fired. I don't know that for a fact. But, this is extremely triggering to me because when I was doing an interview, the one that was with Manchester Inklink before, when they had the flyover, one of the people I interviewed, when I was interviewing him, he knew all of this stuff beforehand. He actually had music talking about this situation right in his truck. And he also told me, and I didn't print it, he had a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that this, Mikey, and we talked to Bob Jones. He never responded to my inquiry where I said I thought that his comments in the February article, Carol Robideau's Manchester Inklink article, where he said that he put you down for being a Jew, I guess you're angry, the angry Jew. I said,
right.
I believe that's anti-Semitic. He never responded.
Really?
And here's the other thing, Matt. I was talking to Mikey about it. When Al Montoya came in, who incidentally I sent a letter, we're supposed to have a great community and family. I sent him a letter on May 8th. Saying that this was disrespecting the spirit of Ed Coyce, the great whistleblower who had just died. He never responded. Yeah. But I think he's between the rock and the hard place. But it's just outrageous what's going on. I believe that this was, when there was no stuff about LGBTQ community up there. So I would go down to Bedford, Mass., which, has all the outreach. But when Al comes in, suddenly they have the stuff there. All of a sudden, it's just disappearing.
Yeah.
And I've just done, I was starting to tell Mikey, I've done 3 sweeps. There's hardly anything there. And they don't have, in the VA, they'll have like a permanent thing behind a plastic. You can replace it. There's not one. So people actually taped one to something, but there's nothing there. 3 sweeps. There's barely anything there. It's almost like, because we, in the site of that, was it the Northeast POW Network, MIA Network? They have an article, Bob Jones. He was outraged because a congresswoman replaced the POW flag with a transgendered flag. Now, he doesn't say anything about transgendered people, and he actually wrote a letter to the Lowell Sun about it. Mm-hmm. But you have a president who allows himself to be used by Pence, and he allows Mikey, I believe that these evangelical Christians know that this most pious person to ever reach a high office in this land, who has an abortion clause in his NDA.
This is absolutely, he's a willing hand puppet, and they use their Bible to try to rationalize, based out of the Old Testament and New Testament, where this has been done before. That he is just he may not be perfect, but God has chosen him. He's just like Moses stuttered. He may not have been a perfect speaker, but he had Aaron there to help him with it, because we know all of this stuff happened. Right? I'm not going to even get into any of that. The fact is that Trump, as long as they vote for Trump and they donate to Trump, and as long as he makes it clear that life as a born-again Christian for you in America, particularly better if you're white, male, and straight, but it's never been better than right now. Guys, I have to wrap up in about 90 seconds and get on the next interview, for which I'm 1 minute late for.
Okay. I'd like to have you back on my show next week. We'll talk about it, because this is outrageous, and I'm terminating my I was going to go up there, take my care back up there, but I'm terminating now.
Mikey, thank you so much. We know you got to run. Before you go, anything you just want us to know, or the listeners to know about anywhere they should be going online? Do you want to mention your website or anything like that?
Sure. Our website is militaryreligiousfreedom.org. I also like to say, if you want to see what these, any of you that are fans of the TV show Breaking Bad, my wife has a brand new book out that's only been out since August 13th, called When Christians Break Bad: Letters from the Insane, Inane, and Profane. In fact, I think John is going to be reviewing it soon. We've had a lot of reviews on it. It's the number 1 new release at various times here since the 13th of August at Amazon in 3 different categories. And if you want to see what these pious, hypocritical, maniac Christians really believe about people that try to stand up to them, make sure you have some sort of mind-altering drink in your hand, a nice beer, and read what's there. Some of it's so bad we had to host some of the pictures sent to us on our website, because it's just it's horrible, and it's been markedly worse since the Caligula-in-chief entered into his presidency, such as it is.
All right, Mikey Weinstein, thank you.
Great hearing from you.
Yes, thank you so much for the call. Let's talk again soon.
All right, thank you very much, John. Thank you for the journalism that you do.
Do you really
and for uncovering the lies that was a Bible given back to this former POW by his mommy when he got back from the war. It's not a historical artifact. It's a complete and total lie. I got to run. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
I was going to ask him the question. Somebody sent him a letter saying, my pastor told me that you're related to Harvey Weinstein, the rapist of women, and you're a Jewish rapist of Christians. Wow. You should see the anti-Semitic build she gets. But this Bob Jones, an angry Jew.
I believe it, yeah. Hello to Bill Murphy, who joins us in the Facebook live chat. Bill had that. He was part of that meeting. Bill's he's been on the show. He's a pain patient advocate. And
I wanted to get him on my show after the primary 17.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Because I really believe in that.
Yeah. And Fred Bonig from the Daily Ripple and Ripple Radio.
Hey, Fred,
joins us in there as well. So, wow.
I'm not the agreeable John's here. He just got it all out. But I can't believe we're trying to build the community out of the ashes. And, we were doing this. And they just bulldoze in. Because we are spearheading the privatization of that, which is on a Koch brothers approved plan, and which has the oversight of somebody from Hospital Corporation of America. The Frist families, I think they sold their stock, and now one of the brothers is a billionaire.
The Frist family, as in Bill Frist?
Bill Frist made $15 million, had $15 million fortune from the stock, but his brother became a billionaire.
Oh.
And now Gene Shaheen took a campaign contribution of $1,000 from Hospital Corporation of America. That was the first time anybody in New Hampshire, a New Hampshire Democrat, ever took the money. And Billy Shaheen, his law firm, has the lobbying contract for Hospital Corporation of America, which was hovering over Elliott Hospital last year when it was almost bankrupt. And it just bought the hospital in Carol Shea Porter's hometown. What is it, Frisbee?
I don't know.
I mean, but nobody talks about this stuff.
Right.
When I told Chris Pappas' staffer about this, his eyes rolled in his head. But Gene Shaheen is the head of the part, it's the Shaheen machine. I'm extremely disappointed in her, and I won't support her for Senate.
We have another call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, Matt, it's Mike Doyle.
Mike Doyle, how are you, sir?
Good. How you been?
Good. I heard what happened this morning.
Did you go to Saratoga? Did you go to Saratoga, Mike?
I did. Last Wednesday through Saturday. Had 3 beautiful days at 75 degrees, and then on the Wednesday, the first day, we had a tornado come through. But
really,
other than that, yeah.
At Saratoga? Wow.
It's so beautiful when you go there.
Yeah. But it was good. It went right through pretty quick. Within an hour, we were good to go.
Oh, that's good.
A little bit wet, but the other 3 days were like, you couldn't ask for better weather.
Yeah.
75 with a breeze and with a bunch of Manchester guys and just chilling out.
My father used to go every year.
Very nice.
Hey, so thanks for talking about this morning.
What happened?
I wanted to try to not take the elevator and see if I could get to the room quicker, but I missed a step and
did you get
and
hurt?
found the handrail on the center of my forehead.
Yeah. And any blood?
Thank God it wasn't my nose or my teeth.
Yeah. No kidding. Well, any blood, or did it just leave a mark?
Oh no, I got a half a boiled egg on my forehead.
Oh jeez, wow.
Mike, we're old now. Taking the stairs.
I had a cut on my knee. My back's killing me.
Oh man,
that sucks. It was when you don't see it coming.
Yeah.
And you just go down. It happens.
Peter,
just quickly, I was listening to the Pence thing, and I was listening to this guy and your guy, and I'm not sure I understand where the discord here is between what's going on and. Didn't Pence say that he just wants to remain all religious freedom?
No, this is in my opinion, you could read my articles. I can send you links to them. First of all, I believe that this Bible was placed there because it was the exact time that the Bladensburg Peace Cross case was taken up by the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, the Bladensburg Supreme Court case, I had a attorney on there, Joseph Steinfeld, and he had said he expected it to be upheld, that it was constitutional because it's venerable. It's old. It's of its time when the cross was like a symbol of, World War I. And Justice Breyer, who was Jewish, agreed, and to the liberals. And he wasn't, it's interesting. But the fact is, Mike, they had a Bible in there. For it to pass constitutional muster, to be in the pre-Bladensburg, what would you call it, test, and even Bladensburg, is that it had to be historical. So they lied that this Bible accompanied, which was about a 8-pound Bible, New Catholic Standard Edition, altar-sized, but which curiously was the same size of like the Wilkie Bible that he was sworn in, Secretary Wilkie, which had the story that was a World War I vet took through it. Oh. But that's more plausible because my grandfather's in World War I. It's a different type of war. But this guy was a B-24.
Isn't it just a symbol?
It's not a symbol.
Talking about a symbol?
No, it's not. A B-24 pilot shot down. First of all, he's in a flight suit with they have flak vests. They've got all the stuff. Where's he going to put this big Bible? But this is the story they're telling. He bailed out. He went through a John McCain-like thing where the peasants grab him and then the Germans save him, put him in a POW camp where this this Catholic Bible was supposedly, it got through all the vetting. And Bob Jones of the Northeast MIA POW network said, it could have cost him his life if he had it. But it was an inspiration to everybody. He has this huge Bible there. Then he escapes and takes it with him. The fact is, Mike, I found out It was a lie.
Yeah, but
he was given the Bible afterwards. And here's another thing, Mike. In German prisoner of war camps, you were allowed to have a Bible. They did not take Bibles away from everybody. They gave it to them. They gave it to them. This was a complete lie. This was a lie. I don't
understand your frustration.
Because there's no Bible should be. There should not be a Bible on a missing man table. First of all, it's an MIA table. If you listen to it, there are female veterans, Mike. My sister was a WAC.
Why can't it be there?
Why should it be there?
Why can't it be there?
Because it's establishment of religion.
Why can't the Quran be there?
Because you don't know. He doesn't know the story. Read.
Why can't anything? Why the Talmud?
Mike, they took the stuff off.
The Quran.
People came and put stuff on, and they took it off. This is in my opinion, this is a act of the Trump 2020 campaign, and I was out covering the Trump rally, and what did I say? This guy, Trump is not Hitler. He's Pat Sajak. Everybody had a great time. They were making, shaking their hands at us like, the call and response, and then we're all like buddies. There was no threat. There was no anything. It was actually a good time there. But he did mention religious liberty because I don't think he really gives a damn. And a few days ago, he couldn't even answer any questions about a Bible, remember?
Right, of course.
This is Pence.
Yeah, but what? So nobody's answered my question. What is the uproar? That it was a Bible there?
How if you...
instead of some other book?
How if you had been molested by a priest and you go in and there's a huge Catholic Bible there and you are forced to walk past it in the main foyer at Bedford, Massachusetts, at the facility.
How about the fact that you're driving down Union or Pine and you got to go right by a Catholic church?
What does that bother me? What's that got to do with anything? That's there. That's there. This thing is put there, and it was a provocation. It violated the law. It violates constitutional law.
The Establishment Clause.
And it violated the law. It's not supposed to be there.
What all he was trying to say is
Pence
that all religions are welcome in the VA.
No, the Christian religion is there, and I had an incident with anti-Muslim bigotry. And Mike, come on, you have a president that is very provocative. I'm not going to say, you'll never see me calling me evil, and I say he's not racist.
Right.
He's just Donald Trump, who I've known since when I was in New York in 1983, reading the paper, and he had the generals, and he was bitching about everything. So I don't think he's the Antichrist.
Let me just read the statement of the Veterans Affairs guy, Wilkie.
Yeah.
All right. All he said was the military culture in which we grew up.
He's a law.
Prioritizes the ability of our troops to worship, their right to have access to chaplains, and a free celebration of their faith, he added.
What's a free celebration? What's a free celebration, Mike? Was that me being have you ever been in the military?
No, what does that have to do with anything?
Were you ever in the military? You're quoting him as an expert on military culture. I've been in the military.
I'm not expert. Who said that? You're making it up now. You're doing fake news.
He's there talking about.
You're making it up. I never said he's an expert.
There it is. He's your authority, right? I was in basic training.
He's the head of the Veterans Affairs, and he's boiling it down to a simple paragraph that when these people come out of combat and come out of all the situations they can, and all the illnesses they have,
that's not true.
When they go into the VA,
that's not true.
They should be able to practice any religion they want.
Are you a veteran?
There shouldn't be any.
Do you use the VA? Tell me that. Do you use the VA? Because I'm going to tell you something. I was in basic training and forced to go to church. My brother-in-law, my father, my brother, we were all forced to go to church. That kind of ended. I was at AIT in Texas, where they brought the lieutenant colonel chaplain in an Easter bunny costume. We were supposed to go through an Easter service, and my best friend was Jewish. And I went up because you know who I am. I'll go up to Mayor or John Silver or the NSA and tell them to go screw themselves. I went up and says, this is offensive, and I won't sit through it. And they allowed us to go. So religion was forced onto people.
Just explain this to me real quick.
Why did I force? I'll force you to become Muslim.
When he's saying our troops have the right to worship and have chaplains and free celebration of any faith they have at the VA.
What's free celebration?
What is it? How are we twisting that around to say...
What is free celebration, Mike? I was trained by the Defense Intelligence Agency to spy on Soviet Union. The Russians that are apparently... I was defending Trump the other day about, what Deutsche Bank. Right. I think a lot of the stuff, watching MSNBC and CNN is just, for me, it's just, give me a friggin' break. Mm-hmm. But, what does free celebration mean? Free celebration
I'm reading it the other way. I'm sorry. I don't
because you don't have the experience.
It's just...
You don't have free celebration means proselytizing. They're going to take their version of the Bible and stuff it down your throat. I was here with Gary Hopper. He's a Congregationalist. I'm a Congregationalist, but I'm not a Christian to him because I don't believe his, what I would consider outlandishness, because I think Christ it's all a metaphor.
Right.
And I expected the Congregationalists, my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfathers, who have names like Moses and stuff, who were Protestant divines that came here in 1630, they'd hang Quakers,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm seeing two different things. I understand what you're saying. But I'm just saying,
this is a campaign
he's straight out saying, if you're in the VA, you have the right to celebrate any faith you want.
No,
you have the right to have a chaplain. You have the right to. That's exactly what he said.
No, you don't. There's not. When you go into a VA, there's either a Protestant or a Catholic. That's just the way it is, and even in a military unit. But here's the thing:
what
it's being forced.
What if somebody was a Muslim or some other entity that had their own religion but was an American citizen and fighting for the U.S. and he's not allowed to have, the faith that he wants to while he's in there trying to
they can have any religion that they want.
I don't know. I'm missing something here, but
you don't force it on somebody, and you don't lie about it. The thing was, for that Bible, in my opinion, was a premeditated act to coincide with Bladensburg, and it was used. They justified putting that Bible to make it constitutionally valid when, Al Montoya, the director, took it away. Then it came back. They said it passed the venerable test. It went through this amazing friggin' journey, and I'm the person that found out by just talking to the Union Leader reporter that talked to the guy. It was an absolute lie, and Mike Pence just repeated that lie. That Bible isn't historic. It had no right to be there. It didn't pass any constitutional test. But
I don't know.
The law.
I guess that's your opinion.
It's not my opinion.
It's a little too.
It's not my opinion. The law is not an opinion.
It's a little too deep for me because all he said was the military culture has been part of my being, an important part of what I believe. I've seen the effects of combat both in uniform and out of uniform. And then he goes on to say,
Mike,
if you're in the VA, the ability of our troops to worship, you have the right to chaplains or to free to celebrate your faith.
Mike, they're allowing proselytizing. They're allowing people to come up to you like the Hare Krishners used to at like San Francisco Airport. I probably have more sympathy with them. Mike, my father was a disabled American veteran. I used to go to VA hospitals with him, and it was really horrible when I'm not Clinton. No, I've been to VA hospitals. That is my health care provider for 10 years. Not one time, and all the time, has anybody ever complained about they didn't have access to a Bible, that they couldn't freely celebrate anything. Do you know what we should be all tattooed when we get out, born to BITCH. We BITCH about the VA, about the Army. If you're a Vietnam vet from the early days, you LBJ or Nixon or Obama or whatever. Nobody has ever mentioned religion ever, except the thing when the guy was doing.
All right, well, I gotta go. I just read it a different way.
They put it in your face, Mike.
Anybody should be able to practice any religion.
Could I just say to Mike, you're right, because they should be. That table, well, I'm against the table too, but Mikey's not. That table should be down in the cafeteria instead of in your face, right across from the Trump picture and the Wilkie picture, right in the main foyer. It should be down there, and you should be able to put different texts. And read Manchester Inkling. If you're on, next time you're on the morning show, Carol Robideau, ask her about that. Because people took texts, like I think one was a Muslim text, one might have been non-denominational. They put them on there, and they took them immediately off. This is sticking a religion in your face, and it's based on a lie. And, you know, if you want to understand me, and I was on Norm's show, the thing that every veteran deals with when we're with each other is that it wasn't worth it, Mike. To have to every day to be tormented, to have a flashback. You're talking to your ex-girlfriend and things like, and she says something because she's Russian, and you're back listening. Well, let's not get into that. I'll have a flashback again. And what I went through was minuscule compared to the combat vets up there. They get triggered so easily. But what we said, it wasn't worth it. Right. It wasn't worth it. Life, it has, things have to have meaning. Democracy has to have meaning. When I went in 2015 and called Ted Gatzis a liar at that meeting, I was thinking the flag and everything. Well, I shouldn't have, it was unconscionable what I did because I was having a flashback. Remember the time when they just opened it up, the door to the PTSD? It's because when you lie about something, it makes what we sacrifice a mockery. When I crossed that line in the Manchester maps, I swore to defend the United States and the U.S. Constitution with my life. And I would do it again. But I'm not going to put my life in jeopardy because some yahoos want to create a Charlottesville by sticking their religion into somebody's face. This is deliberately provocative. But I'm going to say something, Mike. You're right a lot about Trump. And, you always think I'm some big anti-Trumper, but because I don't listen to you, sometimes you don't listen to me. You're right. It should be a place where there's many religions. I offered this octagonal table I inherited from 1917. Let's use that. Put that down there. Have other religions. Have a setting there. So you're actually right. But Pence is bamboozling.
Following up, just let me finish by this because I got to go. But following up on what I was saying, there's an article here. It says that Neil Gorsuch said and Wilkie said he's absolutely correct because he said even though you might be offended, doesn't give you standing to stop other people from worshiping. For me, it's not a military issue; it's a religious liberty issue.
That's a 30-foot
and the one that is vitally important to those who serve it.
That's a 30-foot cross.
I think they're trying to envelop it as a whole thing.
That was a 30-foot cross.
You guys are breaking it down as Catholic.
No, it has nothing to do with Catholic. We're talking about evangelical Christians. They're just they dishonored her, the World War II vet, by lying about his Bible.
Right.
He's almost 100 years old. They've dishonored every veteran by lying about him. It has nothing to do with Catholic. We're talking about evangelical Christians. They're the ones that are behind this crap. And the thing is, in San Francisco, they had a huge cross. You can see it in Dirty Harry. And you have to hear, it's blah, blah, blah. They ought to take it down. And then they gave it to a private thing. I was never into that stuff. It's a cross. It's been there forever. FDR lighted it and stuff. Yeah. And it's the same thing like the Bladensburg cross.
I don't know, and I don't want Hoppy to explode, but I think you're digging into this way too deep.
No, it's created a hostile environment.
You know what? We'll wait for Fred because he always calls right after I call.
It's created a hostile environment.
We'll wait to see what he says.
It's created a hostile environment.
All right, Mike, thank you for the call. All right, bye-bye.
There's a big difference, seeing a cross when you're going around.
Who shot John out of the cannon this morning or this afternoon?
Well, because I've been...
Yike.
I think...
very emotional.
Well, yeah, because I have to terminate... I'm terminating my care at this Manchester VA because the Trump campaign 22 is creating another potential Charlottesburg because this is the first in the nation primary. And Mike Pence was lying. He's lying about that Bible. Ask Carol Robideau about it. I'm the one who broke the story that they lied about that Bible.
All I can say is I'm very happy to be living in the age of Trump.
Who likes that? Gives you something to talk about.
Imagine that spewing out of his mouth. The age of Trump?
The age of Trump.
That's going to go down in flames big time.
This is the dawning of the age
of
Trump.
The dawning of the age of Trump.
Yes.
As of the age of Aquarius. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I disagree with Mikey that they think he's like the whole, what was it?
Mikey Weinstein.
Mikey Weinstein, the Cyrus that's going to, like in Israel, he's considered by some very ultra-religious Jews, the Cyrus that's going to save Israel. I believe...
Well, he is the king of Israel, according to Wayne Allen Root.
These evangelical Christians, and that doesn't mean every evangelical Christian. I'm just talking about this group. And Mikey brought up something that I didn't really know about this like cult or something that Pence is part of. I mean, cult like
the family,
family.
Well, they're Dominionists, aren't they? Is that the same thing?
I don't really know, but I'm going to find out.
It gets very confusing.
I have to for the lawsuit.
I just know they're all nuts.
This whole time in our lives is very confusing.
It is.
But they lied. And they're deliberately lying now. They don't care whether they lie. And as I said, you remember when he converted to he was born again when we were doing our 2 shows in 2016?
Oh, yeah.
And you were aghast, and I was just, oh, my God, he'll say anything. He's just a hustler.
Of course.
These evangelical Christians, he's family, whatever you want, they don't believe he's Cyrus. They believe he's the Antichrist because they lie. He has a utility. Who has more utility to bring about the second coming and it's going to come through Armageddon than this Antichrist that has his finger in the button? Now, you know what I think about Trump. I don't think he's Hitler. I don't think he's evil. Right. I don't even think he's a racist. He's Pat Sajak, running his version of Jeopardy. I was at the rally. It was kind of fun. We had a good time.
Well, that's
Except
good.
he talked forever.
Well,
and we're in the audience. We are definitely the audience.
He had the best music.
He does.
I go in there. It's sympathy for the devil.
He does.
Please allow me.
He does tend to speak a long time.
I stand up here giving speeches for an hour and a half, many times without notes.
Yes.
And he mentioned religious liberty. They just gave him a quiz on the Bible, dear old Donald. He doesn't know anything. He knows less than I do.
He doesn't read. Come on.
I love the clip where I forget the journalist who asked him a couple of years ago. Which book do you prefer, the Old Testament or the New Testament? And he's just like, well, I think I like them both equally. I think, he just
doesn't have a clue.
But he doesn't even try. But I've always said, my favorite one, if I had the clip, I would play it, is the one where he's like, because he's just dripping with insincerity during the 2016 campaign. Like somebody in the crowd holds up a copy of Art of the Deal, and he sees it, and he's like, oh, yeah, Art of the Deal, that's my second favorite book. But you all know what my favorite book is, right? Yeah, the Bible. Yes, of course, the Bible. And he's so insincere. And I swear, I know in his mind, he's got to be thinking, how far can I push this? And how insincere can I be where these rubes will just eat it up?
But see,
they've eaten it up.
When he said,
oh yeah,
when he said early in the campaign, I could shoot somebody in Fifth Ave and get away with it.
He was right.
He was right.
But he
was
talking about. I can't believe it. I'm beyond the tough one because you have to understand he's a real New Yorker, and it's a specific type of personality where you're always being. I can't use the vulgar phrase. I don't even want to use the other one since this is family radio. Let's say being tiddled with or something.
Well, we do have 2 gentlemen here who are a member of a family, yes.
Oh, yeah. And not the family, though.
No, not the family. And I mean that they're related. I don't mean that you guys are
That'd be the Dion family.
I don't mean that you guys are like mobbed up or something.
No.
I realized after I said that, it sounded a little, we got some members of the family,
forget about it.
They're friends of ours, if you know what I mean.
My friend Jocelyn knew Linda Kasabian after the Manson massacre.
Oh, really?
She was living in Mount Vernon.
Oh, yeah.
She had a smokehouse where she had a slaughtered hog, and she'd go around with a knife.
Wow.
Everybody knew
everyone needs a hobby. I mean,
everybody knew she.
That's a hobby.
I guess. Why not? Everybody's got their something. Hey, some people collect stamps.